Their home survived the wildfires, but some homeowners say dealing with the Fair Plan insurance is keeping them from moving back in.
That's right. On your sides, Christine Lazar joins us to explain what the holdup is. Christine?
You know, it's hard. So when a home is destroyed by the fire, there's really no back and forth there, right? Your home is gone. Sure. But if your home is standing and it has smoke damage, it can be very subjective. And what people are learning is that every insurance company, kind of every policy is treating that differently. And that's really creating some frustration. Now, according to the Department of Insurance, the California Fair Plan, which is our insurance of last resort, must cover smoke damage. But a group of homeowners we spoke with say the Fair Plan is denying or undervaluing their smoke claims.
The first thing, when I walked in, it smelled awful.
Keith Stoller's Pacific Palisades townhome that he shared with his wife and daughter survived the Palisades fire, but not the ash and soot that came with it.
Like that blew open somehow. I have a door that basically opens to the balcony that had blown open. So there was ash and dust all over the floor, tons of ash and dust all over my bed.
And on his furniture. So Stoller filed a claim with his insurer, the California Fair Plan.
I assumed that they were going to pay. In fact, the first conversations that I had with people there was like, yeah, submit your, information and we're going to do our best to help, give you what you deserve.
But the Fair Plan decided his smoke damage was less than his $2,500 deductible.
So they're just saying the smell is the only thing that you need to pay to get out of your house, and you could get 3 days of a hydroxol machine, and that would take care of it all. As far as the toxic materials, the ash, you got to sweep that up yourself.
So they just want you to kind of get in there, use some elbow grease and clean.
That is exactly what they are saying.
Stoller didn't like that answer, so he paid out of pocket to have his house tested for toxins. The preliminary report found unsafe levels of lead and lithium. The testing company recommended intrusive and substantial remediation, including removing all insulation in the attic and crawl space. What are the quotes you're getting for cleaning your place?
$26,000 to $28,000. I've gotten 3 quotes right now.
Does the Fair Plan have to cover smoke damage per California law? We asked insurance expert Carl Sussman, and his answer is yes. And he says it goes back to a hearing in the summer of 2022.
Where the Department of Insurance went and looked at the California Fair Plan's claim handling for smoke damage claims to prior years. They found that they were not in compliance with California law, so much to the extent that they made them go back and reopen 59 claims and pay them.
The insurance commissioner told the Fair Plan to update its policy language to properly cover smoke damage. But state lawmakers say that hasn't happened.
They have their sort of an interpretation they're trying to use, but the CDI, the Department of Insurance, has come out with a directive, basically to say that they believe that the Fair Plan has been actually violating state law by enforcing this improper standard of smoke damage with its policyholders.
You can see I'm not comfortable being in here without PPE.
Blossom Wright has the Fair Plan for 2 rental units next to her home in Pasadena, just on the border of Altadena. She says she was told her smoke damage wouldn't be covered by the Fair Plan, other than changing the insulation and HVAC system.
Just completely ignoring the fact that there's soot, ash, char throughout the inside of the home with toxins that you cannot make an assessment on by looking at.
And so what does the Fair Plan expect you to do?
They seem to be taking the position that homeowners should clean this up themselves, that it's not damage, it's just something that has to be cleaned, which is totally crazy to me. This is likely lead amongst other items. It's contaminated.
What's a consumer to do when they're told, sorry, not going to cover it?
Well, the first thing is to speak to someone that you trust, other than the claims adjuster. If you're working with an agent or a broker, talk to them and say, this doesn't seem to make sense to me. They're telling me that it's $400 or $800, and I'm getting estimates that are, in the tens of thousands. What do you think? And push back, because as consumers, we really do have a lot more power than we think we do.
State Senator Ben Allen says it's difficult to police the Fair Plan because it isn't a state agency, even though it was formed by the state back in 1968.
And so we don't have the kind of same direct control over them that we do over a typical government agency. And I guess it sounds as though they're trying to take advantage of that. Again, unacceptable. So we're just going to have to ratchet up the pressure on them and hold them accountable.
In a statement to us, the Department of Insurance said all insurance companies, including the California Fair Plan, are required by law to adopt and implement reasonable standards for processing smoke damage claims, and that it is not reasonable to deny a smoke damage claim without conducting an appropriate investigation. But Stoller and Wright say they worry in order to feel safe, they'll have to pay for the cleanup themselves.
It just really feels like an example of tell everybody no, push back, and then only give in when the chorus is loud enough that we have to act.
I did reach out to the Fair Plan, and a spokesperson told me the Fair Plan approves all covered claims, including smoke claims, consistent with California law. However, she clarified that the Fair Plan requires direct physical loss for there to be coverage. And that, of course, again, can be subjective, right? So I think what these people really feel is they don't know, you know, if it's safe to go back, and they really don't want to take that gamble. They want their places, you know, cleaned as well as they can be cleaned before they go back in, and they don't feel like their insurance is going to do that. So they either pay out of pocket or they don't go back.
And they had the expectation that they were paying into something that would take care of them later.
That's the frustrating thing. You pay it every month and you assume if something happens that you will be covered, but that kind of level of coverage is not what they expected.
Well, it's almost silly because fire, of course, includes smoke. So you would think if you have fire coverage, smoke.
But they say permanent damage. What is that?
Right.
So.
All right. Very interesting, Christine.
Oh, one more thing. If your claim is denied, the Department of Insurance wants to hear from you, and we have that information on our website, kcal.com/scene on TV.
All right. Very helpful. Thank you.